2020 was truly a chaotic and cruel time, but I also accomplished so many of my goals that I didn't think would be possible during a global, deadly pandemic. It's the year that I got engaged to the most patient and loving partner, finished paying off my car and my student loans, promoted to a role that I've always wanted to have. So honestly, 2021 has a pretty high bar to clear, and I think that really shows in the kinds of goals that I've set for this year. In this video, I'll only talk about my goals around UX and software engineering, work-life balance, and a couple of my hobbies. Alright, let's talk about my goals. This year, I formatted my UX and software engineering goals based on the Learn, Maintain, Expand format that I saw on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. Under Learn, I really want to focus on accessibility and design patterns. Accessibility is something that I truly care about but have never formally learned. In the past, I made sure to use the right HTML tags for screen readers, as well as enable keyboard navigability for any of the forms and buttons that I add. However, I'm still not confident in my implementation and knowledge of it, so I'm making this my number one Learn goal this year. To accomplish this, I'll be going through the Developing for Web Accessibility learning path on Pluralsight, which is about 13 hours of content. So my goal is to finish those 13 hours by the end of June 2021 and apply those concepts as soon as possible. I know software design patterns from school and have worked with them in code bases at work, but I haven't formally looked at it from an Angular lens. My goal this year is to read the book Angular Design Patterns by Matthew Nairolis. I really hope that this will enable me to join in on the more architectural design making discussions at work. I don't think I'll have a hard time maintaining my Angular skills because I'll be coding with it every day at work, but I have to be more intentional about my UI prototyping skills because that's not necessarily part of my day-to-day anymore. In my previous team, we didn't have a designer, so I got to design and also build the interfaces that I worked on, but my current team closely works with the design team, so I won't get to do that as much. So instead, I will design and post a UI prototype on my Instagram once a week on Tuesday. I really want to expand my Angular knowledge to learning NGRX this year because I've heard so many cool things about it. And as a front-end engineer who has a love-hate relationship with state management, I think a framework that is supposed to make reactive applications on Angular is just the right thing to learn. I also want to expand on my UX knowledge this year, and to do that, I'm going to be taking a pathway on Pluralsight to expand my UX research skills because that's something that I'm not super good at. Hopefully, at the end of this year, I'll be able to level up on my UX IQ skills on Pluralsight. In the past, I've been really great at separating work from home because I can just tell myself to leave work at the office. Because we're working home from a pandemic, the line has basically disappeared. My desk is literally where I do work and my hobbies, so there are a lot of days when I just sit in one place and the transition between work and home doesn't really exist. So in 2021, I want to have a better work-life balance by adding an after-work routine to signal the end of my workday and the start of my personal life. At 5:30 every weekday to turn off everything, even if I'm gonna come back to it later anyways, go take a walk and commute to go home. I used to be a huge reader before college. My dad really encouraged us to read by taking us to libraries and bookstores and even setting up a 1-hour reading rule on weekdays and 2 hours on the weekends. Not gonna lie, I was really into Meg Cabot and Dan Brown up until high school. But then I got to college and I was just really busy with computer science and also trying to minor in Japanese and communications that I kind of just stopped reading for fun altogether. After I graduated from college and started living by myself, I went back to my library going roots and read a bunch of self-help and personal development books, I just kind of got tired of reading and trying to improve my life, so I stopped reading again. But last year in 2020, I started reading fiction books again and graphic novels, and I really loved it. So I was actually able to finish my 2020 Goodreads challenge to read 20 books. This year, I'm trying to read 20 books again, but I'm going to be a little bit more specific about the kinds of books that I want to read. I want to read at least one book on design patterns and UX principles per my UX and software engineering goals. I also want to read at least 2 Filipino authors, one fiction and one nonfiction, and at least one book that analyzes text ethics, impact, and or future. The other 15 can be literally anything, and knowing me, it's probably going to be graphic novels. If you have book recommendations, please feel free to drop them below. I would love to read them. This goal is a nice one to end on because it underpins the rest of my goals for this year. I'm the kind of person that's not satisfied with just making something. I have to go out and share it with other people. This probably stems from my people-pleasing, need for external affirmation, kind of bad insecurities, but I just genuinely love creating and sharing that experience with other people. That's why I really like social media, because it's never been easier to make something and then share it with a bunch of people over the internet. Honestly though, I've been much more of a consumer than a creator these past couple of years, and it's left me feeling unfulfilled and jealous of full-time content creators, even though I truly love being a software engineer and think it's like one of the coolest jobs ever. So this year, or wherever possible, I will be sharing my progress on my goals via cute content on Instagram or YouTube, and I'll just focus more on sharing authentically and just posting something and really embodying what Evelyn from the internet have said. Don't be afraid to be seen trying. Thanks for watching the videos. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday season, and if you have 2021 goals, share them below. Let's be accountability buddies. See you next Monday.